So after installing a couple new lights here, I have this issue where these packs to the T5s, they hang on the side of my aquarium. Now sometimes I'll put my water in this tank from this side, so this could pose an issue in the future, especially if I'm doing water changes tired. But there's a simple solution to this, and I'll show you what I do. Now all I did was add a screw into this wood here. Now say you don't have wood, if it was just concrete, you could add a tap con, or if it was metal, you could also drill through metal and add a hook or a screw. You could probably even get something that would just attach to metal. But since I got wood here, most of my stands are made out of wood. Easy as that. Usually when I want to hang up wires or hide wires, I'll just throw a screw up and get it out of my way. So there you have it. That's how I fix that problem. Oh, and another tip too, if you see here, this is my, there's a washcloth here that holds my pump in it. And this will help keep the pump from being loud. As you can tell, you can't even hear it. But the only thing is you do want to be careful because there's a diaphragm underneath these pumps. Show you guys real quick. It's right there, and that's where it actually breathes from. That's where the pump draws its air. But yeah, you just want to make sure you don't clog that up too much when you do this. And since it's in a hole, it's more mushed up. Usually it just sits on top of the rag. So yeah, there's another tip for you guys. And putting it back in here, I actually decided to put it in sideways. That way it does have a little more air vent in there to get through and be able to breathe a little better. Hello everyone. So I was left with all this substrate after my tank leaked, and I don't really want to throw it away because it's about $23–30 a bag for a 20-pound bag. I haven't been feeling well, so I may sound a little nasally. Some kind of bug or something going around. I don't get sick often, but it hit me this time. Probably lack of sleep. But anyway, I use this pitcher here to scoop the gravel out. And I'm going to show you guys how I saved this substrate. Now, once I've scooped it all into a bucket, I get a nice flat Tupperware container. You can probably just use plastic too. And all I do is spread this out in the container, like so. And by pushing all that substrate to the side of the tank like I did, it helps get a lot of that water out. But you can see how much is still stuck in there because how wet it is. Tap that out. It doesn't have to be perfect because I'm going to use it again to get the rest. Oh, my foot. Yeah, you can see how it's really wet. Real dark. See that color contrast right there? That's that dry stuff where it's lighter. That was already in the container. And the darker is all the wetter stuff. I also like to smooth out the substrate too, that way it's more even when it dries. Then first day or two maybe, I'll just stick a fan directly on top of it. Stick it on high. Do that for a day, check it tomorrow. And the main reason why I'm drying it out is just kind of kill any algae that may have been on it and just reset it all. That way I don't have to worry about any more algae going into another tank or something. It'll start stinking too if you don't leave it. If you don't take it out of the bucket and just leave it in a bucket, the bottom will get all nasty and gross if you just leave it in a bucket without drying it out. So it's really important you dry it out. So it's been a few hours now. And already you can tell it's drying out. See where it's dark there, just in that little spot, it's kind of wet, but most of it is dry. Like that's a wet spot, that's just a little wet. So saying this, even after a couple hours you can go through and mix it back up. That way it draws all the moisture out. Just like that, you can tell it's still wet. So yeah, it helps to mix it up. You don't have to wait every day. So if you do have time and feel like mixing it, you can do it faster that way, or you can just keep waiting. So there's a couple ways you can do it as far as time wise. Okay, so it's the next day and everything on top is pretty much dry. And I'll just mix it around a little bit. Yeah, the bottom's still pretty wet. So I just try to bring up what's on bottom up on top. Which that end right there, that's pretty dry. In the middle, it's super wet. When it's nice outside, I'll put this on a hill. That way all the moisture goes to one end. Hardest part is keeping the cats out of it. The last thing I want is the cats to be in it. Alright, so now I'll just stick the fan on and give it another day, or even mix it in a couple hours, depends on my schedule. Now you can see the substrate is completely dry. Another day afterwards, all the way down to the bottom. You can tell because it's not sticking to the bottom. It'll fall through your hands. So now it's all ready to save, and you can either put it in another tank or store it in a bucket. You definitely don't want to store it in a bucket when wet, because it'll get nasty if you do. But that's how you save and dry substrate. And this Eco Complete, it's actually made of lava rock. So it will hold moisture more than most gravels. And there you have it. Had a horrible incident where these barbs got caught in my netting that was covering their tank. And they all got caught in it. I did lose one. I was lucky I didn't lose the rest of them. They got spooked and jumped and got caught in this net. It acted like a gill net and entangled them. So I did have to fix that, and ended up getting some of this egg crate stuff. You can find it in the Home Depot in the lighting department. It covers over light fixtures for buildings, usually office buildings. And this, they're definitely not going to be able to get tangled in, and I'll still be able to feed easily and all that stuff.